Woo! We're live. I don't have a drink. What am I doing? Okay. I'm gonna go get a drink. But we are live. This is happening. I just totally spaced and didn't bring myself a drink. And the last time I did that and I started coughing, it was bad. So. Yes. When I do that without water, it'll go well. Okay, bye. I'm back. Sorry, I started here without a drink, and the last time I did that, it went horribly. I started coughing, and we had to end. So, drink, we're good. Hi Nicole. Hi Monica. Hi Kimbers. Hi. Okay, it says Ragdoll on here, so I'm sorry I don't know your name. Hi Marilyn. Okay. Yeah, so a lot was going on in the book there. Hi, Joanne. A lot was going on in the book. So hi, Lavon. I'm ready for people's questions. I know that we've got to have some. So much happened when they turned 18. Oh gosh, guys, so much happened. I saw some people saying, oh, they're mated now, it's gonna calm down. We just build from here. It just gets like the things that start happening, just craziness. It really is. It's all craziness. Like from here on out, like just craziness starts going on. Allison, hi. But yeah, especially we're going to jump to when they're 19. That's our next chapter. So, guys, this next chapter we jump to, and then every chapter from there on out, it's just so crazy. Let's see. Hi, Allie. Is there a specific reason Elise got a so-called experienced wolf compared to EJ, or is it just because EJ is a special mix? So none of the Connors kids' wolves are old wolves. They all got new ones. So it's a little different for them because they've had wolves since birth. So just because they're kind of different, they get a new wolf. Would it create a problem in Elisa and EJ's relationship that Ray is an old wolf, Brutus is a newbie? No. So the wolves don't like hold on to what they have from their past lives. Like they know who they were with. They know if they were happy or not, but they don't like retain all their memories with their new human. As we've seen, like with other wolves, you can tell which wolves are experienced because they understand what's going on when their mate's close by. They retain that information, but newer wolves, they're kind of like, hey, what's like going on? Like Thor had no idea that Haley was near. Like he was like, something's weird, but he didn't know what because he had never found his fated mate. So that's that. Are we coming towards the end of EJ and Cassie, or EJ's book? Then we'll have Cassie's. No. No. I wouldn't say we're towards the end. Maybe the midpoint. Don't quote me on that. But we're not close to, and there's still lots of things that are going to happen with his book and his story. But Cassie's book is next. Okay, so Alexander said it hurt him to think about his mate. Is that because of the things keeping them apart or because his feelings being hurt? We're going to see. So here's a little, just because I love you guys. So EJ's space ends in the next chapter. There's something that happens and he is like, enough. Tell me what is going on. I already know, but I need you to tell me. And so we hear Alexander's like thought process and what really is going on with him. So EJ, I will say EJ is not fully expecting Alexander's response. He's very taken aback by some of it. A lot of it. And how the feelings he's having. Because obviously he knows, like, he wants him to tell him that he thinks Melanie's his mate. That's what as far as he knows, that's where Alexander's head's at. He's not understanding all this needing space and his feelings on it. And yeah, he's a little taken aback. He's a lot taken back by the reveals that Alexander gives him and the insights that he kind of has. So yeah, it's Alexander's totally throwing EJ through a loop with his feelings. So here's my theory. Cassie has found her mate. I did tell you we were going to have to start getting creative with Cassie at a certain point in this book. I love Elise. She's such a mood. She is. I love her, and I love her wolf. I think Rhea is a lot of fun. But Elise is a lot of fun. So, yeah, I love the two of them together. But yeah, Elise she's a bit of a different character as a female lead than we've had. And I really am enjoying that. It's a bit more like our raised Takura Haley, but she doesn't have that fairy side to her, but she's been raised around fairies and she's been around them a lot. So yeah, it's not somebody, and the difference between her is Elise has a great mom. So it's been fun writing her character, a character that's grown up in this like loving environment and is being raised with her mate. So she's had the love of her life there the whole time. So it's been a lot of fun to write from both of their sides, especially, yeah, it's been a lot of fun to write from both of their sides. EJ's got, he's got a loving family around him, and they still struggle with things. We haven't seen them fight. They've obviously fought. But yeah, Charluni is an amazing name. Haley is a national treasure. She is. Hi, Amanda. Haley is. She's great. The nicknames. I love the nicknames. She's just like, all right, we've got, I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I did change Christy's nickname. It was like Chris Nasty, but then I decided Chris Nasty was better. So that's her nickname. If you wonder why that change happened, it's because I decided I liked that one better. And then, yeah, we've got Claudzilla, and now we have Charluni. The girls that were from out of town and from Alpha Theo's pack, were the Connors friends with them? If not, why would they be at the party? So the allies are all invited to the birthday parties. Haley thinks that's important. The out-of-town people were related to people in their pack. So that's why they were there. I will say there's a name from there we should recall here later. So not all of them are going to go quietly into the night. It's a little... It's a bit off, but just remember they're the ones that were named. Just hold on to them into your mind. Write them down. Something like that. So Angela and TJ are the last of the 20 kids, right? I don't have to do math. They are the last of the 20. I have already... Gosh, guys, I'm just... in my brain. So I've already come up with a couple more. They have more kids. I've already decided. I decided that actually in Raised Takura when they talked, when Raphael said, keep your mind open to other kids. That was my door for it. And then I came up with more of them. So is the Claire another she-wolf? It's going to be a problem. That's a possibility. Her name is Claire. It's a C name. We've seen that they give us problems. Chelsea's the one that hasn't. So... okay, so in 6 years, it all hits the fan. 6 years. They're not going to have more kids for a bit. I'm not sure what in 6 years it all hits the fan means. Is Melanie's friend Tiffany significant to the story? Oh gosh. I don't know how to answer that question. Yes and no. I can't tell you why yes, and I can't tell you why no, but yes and no. That was mentioned for a reason. No, Alexander finding his mate when they were 10 in Raised Takura. Alexander was 24 at the end of Raised Takura. So he was not 10 years old. He was 24. Angela and TJ. It was specifically mentioned about Angela finding her mate. So, yes, Angela and TJ were 10. So yeah, that happens. My main man got a bit of a break with Cassie With Angela, we just, threw him into he still got a break. I mean, she was 10. That's Peter knew before his child was born. So, I give my main man a break there. In Haley's epilogue, there is a partial fairy in need, and we find out it's Farron's nephew. What is happening to him now, and what is his name? Well, we see more of him in a kid's book I can't tell you about, but we'll find out his name. So, but he lived with Farron and Trixie for a year in Frey. He's obviously older now, so he goes back and forth. But he and hold on one second. Sorry, in the process of putting an offer in on the house, and when my realtor texts me, I have to stop everything and figure out what's happening. So, what were we talking about? Farron's nephew. Yeah, so he goes back and forth. He's older. He's still around. When Alexander was really angry that they were taking over Two Peaks once they popped to Juliana, he automatically calmed down. Is that only because she is family or they are close? So they are close, but Juliana has a way about her. She's much more fairy-like, and as we've seen, with the sisters, the Connors are a bit Angela pops in and then everything's stopping. They're like that with their female family members. Juliana is very playful. She's very into her fairy side, and that's why she's made it to a fairy. So it's not like if they had popped to Jaden, he wouldn't have calmed down, because Jaden is more into his wolf than anything else. But with Juliana, she's a bit more lighthearted. She's a bit more like a fairy, and Alexander calmed down because he didn't want to upset her. So that's why he calmed down. Mel never came to the Connors' birthday party, but what about Alexander going to Jason's for birthday parties? So Jason's birthday parties either are not in Red Run, or Melanie's not there because she's doing something. She's very busy. So she's only 13, but she's genius level smart, guys. She started to tell Levi that she was working on something he would be interested in. She has all these kinds of side projects that she works on and things that she's looking into doing. There is something that's going to come into play with that, because obviously she is in love with Alexander. So, looking at things that affect fairies, she's looking at things that affect people and how she can help them. So she's very, very smart. I cannot overestimate how freaking smart this kid is. So yeah, she's just very smart. Have we met or heard of Jason's mate? Not yet. No. Yeah, not yet. How old are the triplets in Haley's epilogue? In Haley's epilogue, they're 2. The original Haley, right? The OG Haley. Yeah, they're 2, and she's pregnant with the twins. I think that's right. Let me look real quick. Yeah, they're 2, because the twins, Max and Wesley, are 2 years younger than them. So they're 2. If only we could all be pregnant for the amount of time that a werewolf or a fairy was. This whole 9 months thing. Whew. Did Alpha Oliver or his children ever train on their fairy side? So Alpha Oliver is not a fairy. It's his son, Alpha Clyde. His grandchildren have, yes. Alpha Clyde worked on controlling his powers, and now that it's kind of more out there, he does get into it more. He took a while to come around to it, though. That's posted on an outtake on the Patreon. So, have you thought of doing a strand where Eric has a sister? Well, we'll see. I don't ever say no. We'll see. Yeah, the OG, and there goes my theory on Cassie's mate. What was your theory about Cassie's mate? Tell me all the things. I'll tell you if there's anything wrong with the theory. is there a boy shifter in Emmeline's? Is the boy shifter in Emmeline's book significant or not? No, just in that they were friends. He is taken in by Red Run's pack. Do the Hakira have their own version of the Beyond like Valhalla? Every supernatural group has their own version of the Beyond. We're going to see some of that. A request that is actually very intriguing to me came in. I'll just tell you guys about it. So we're actually going to get more into Noah. And I was actually surprised no one has said anything about this. Haley mentioned that she had a house of horrors she wanted Noah to put Noah into, but obviously Sally killed him. But that's not to say he's, not suffering in the place where they go, because you messed with the promised siblings, and one of the promised siblings is dead. So, interesting things coming up with that. I'm excited about it. I'm still at work, so I'll miss most of the video. I had a question about Tabby. I was wondering if we would hear about her when OG Haley looks for her. Well, we know she's around. Tabitha Bond is Tabitha. So that's who her mate is in the original reality. Everly is her daughter. Somebody could request an outtake of Haley going to find her, but I don't currently have I don't have it planned to be in a book because we're focused on the kids right now. There's a lot going on Haley and Eric's side right now, guys. Like, they're doing a lot. Eric's doing a lot. So, if we were following them, obviously we would see a different side of the story, but we're in the kids right now. So, Tabitha, that just came into the books with Beta Jason Bond, which Dylan just loves to no end, is our Tabitha that we saw in Raised to Kira. Hi, Marnie. Can the wolf/fairy kids do fairy magic while in wolf form? Yes, they can. Can we get an outtake on how Angela saved Kathy? No. That's in Cassie's book. So, no, if anybody requests that outtake, I'm going to say no, because it is in Cassie's book what happened and what went down. So, there are going to be things, I'm sure. I'm sure there are going to be some fan requests that I'm going to have to tell people to hold off on. I'm fully aware that with Cassie's book, people are going to want some outtakes I'm probably not going to be able to write until later, because there are things going on that I can't really reveal. I'll have to think about it a lot. But yeah, that was mentioned with Angela because it is going to be in Cassie's book. It's it's the beginning of Cassie's book kind of starts off with a bang. So it's that bang. So, but yeah, that's why it was mentioned to kind of, set up Cassie's story. So it won't be an outtake, but it will be in her book. But yeah, oh gosh, Cassie's book, gosh, we're so close to just, there's going to be a theory coming up about something, or there should be a theory coming up about something that's going to happen, that just carries into the triplets books. So, and there will be a point in Cassie's book where everybody's like, it's right. I'm sure everybody will think it's right anyway, but in Cassie's book, from her mate's side, it's like the flashing neon sign that, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. We actually get a lot from her mate's side, into, gosh, I don't know how to say that. We get a lot from her mate's side, a lot of information about, things and stuff. Yeah, let's go with things and stuff. So, yeah. We see more of Micah in that book. And obviously Max, because they're mated. So we see more of Micah and Max in that book. Hi, Sylvia. We see some people that we haven't really seen yet. Ailey is one of them. Ailey and Cassie are close. So Ailey pops in and out every so often. So we see her a lot is probably the wrong word. But my theory is that since you have mentioned that Cassie's mate was mentioned far back in book 1 and Cassie seems more in touch with her fairy side, and in touch with her fairy side, like at the beginning, she's upset about Cassandra being rude about the fairy side of them, and she seems really into things being fair. So I had a guess that one of the partial fairies would be her mate because a full-blooded fairy could possibly make Haley uncomfortable, since Cassie being in for Ray and she looks so much like her mother could cause Haley to have flashbacks. So that's not inaccurate. That would cause Haley some unrest, but Haley is Haley, and she will always be on her kid's side. So she would be worried about it, but it's not like she's going to tell Cassie she can't do something. But we'll see. We'll see where Cassie's story is going. I will say I have seen some people get it very wrong. I have seen some people get on the right track. So, it's all over the board. We've got somebody who's like thinking in a vein that's correct. We have people that are all the way over there in the wrong. And we have some people who are, moving over here to right. I think Cassie's mate is the son of the she-wolf whose mate died when she went into heat on the way to the other pack. We know that dad is a ranked wolf. Are you talking about Gamma McCann's sister from Nashville? Yeah, you're talking about Gamma McCann's. So the father of that child is suspected. People think they know who that kid's dad is. Well, we find out what the underground is in her book. Cassie's book. We learn more about the underground in this book and in Cassie's book. But yeah, there are plenty of guesses on who Gamma McCann's sister's son is. So, yes, in Cassie's book. We find more about the underground in this book. That's going to start. It's mentioned again in this next chapter. We do find more about it as the book goes on. We find out about their suspicions because obviously in the epilogue of Raised to Cura, they couldn't find anything. Like it's above boards. They just know it's not. There's something that we don't know, and so they're trying to figure out what it is. But they search for that answer for years. So yeah, we find out more about the underground and what's going on with that and what they suspect is going on with that. Are all the kids going to get a book? I have an outline for all of them. I don't know how long some of them will be. Obviously, some of them are going to be bigger. But I do like Cassie's. I'm not sure how long Cassie's will end up being. I say that, guys. If this ends up being like just as long, I'm going to be like, don't listen. You guys are going to be like, I'm not listening to you. But some of them might be shorter, like little novellas and stuff. I'm very slow to ask questions because I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. I do have a theory that it's the goddess manipulating Melanie from the bigger group of allies. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. I'm actually a little surprised that there is to me, it's obvious because I planted the seed, but there is an obvious thing, and it's been mentioned a few times there's a suspect that nobody is really suspecting at the moment. So yeah, there are some definite good theories out there, and there are suspects being talked about, but there's one being overlooked. So yeah, there are suspects, and there are things that how much can you tell us about Alexander's mate? Like, have we heard her name? Oh, I've said that we've heard her name. Have they actually spoken? Has anyone had the theory correct? I have seen some correct theories. Yes, we have heard her name. Have they actually spoken? We'll see. My theory is Alania for what's going on with Melanie. I've seen that one. I also think that there's something that people are kind of ignoring about Alania right now. Yeah, we've got a lot of suspects for stuff going on with her with Melanie. But let's all keep in mind there is a character that Alania would care about much more than she would care about Melanie. So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying she has nothing to do with what's going on, because I think we're kind of seeing she's, she didn't consider herself messing with things, but she definitely whispered. She definitely helped some people out. But there is a character that Alania absolutely cares about more than Melanie. I wonder if Jason isn't involved with what's happening with Melanie, since it said that Alexander gets in a fight with his friend. No, Jason loves his sister. He's not involved. We're gonna see from Alexander's side what he is upset about. But no, Jason loves his sister. I saw that. His guilt that Elise saw was because he knew how much she wanted to come. He felt bad that Melanie didn't get to come, because she has always wanted to come, and he feels bad that something always comes up and she doesn't get to, because he's her brother and he loves her. He knows how much she wants to meet everybody, and yeah, so that's where that was from. He felt guilty that he was ready to have fun at the party, and Elise was like, "Yeah, well, your sister's not here," and then he was kind of thoroughly chastised. So that was Jason's deal. I think there's something about Jason. No, guys, he's just her brother. He loves her. I have made people suspect all the people. I blame myself. I do. It's OG Arian's fault. I blame myself. No, Jason's he loves his sister. He's not involved in anything going on. He gets used later, which is sad, but no, he's a good guy. Alania cares about Angela. Yes, she does. I was thinking maybe Charlene was working with a witch to make the patrol think keep Mel away from Alexander. She's not that sophisticated. She probably would have. She might have been a mole that got killed. But yeah, she's not that sophisticated. That was not to say that she was not giving people information. But she was not involved with the patrol and the crossing stuff. That would be putting way too much trust in her, in my opinion. I love that you let us think for ourselves and probably laugh at some of the theories. I love some of the theories. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's good. Like, you guys have some good ways to go. I'm like, that's not what's happening, but that's good. I love the theories, guys. It cracks me up sometimes. Cares about, as in wants to help. When does Alania help? Does she ever really help? She only really helps herself. So, what about Lila? Is she involved? Arian's daughter? No. Involved in what? She does stuff. She's involved in a coven, and she spends time in Foray too. If we're talking about, is she involved with Melanie's stuff? No. How many kids do Lacey and Dylan end up having? They have 3 kids. Now, that's for right now. All of these people are going to live for centuries. So is that to say that Dylan and Lacey aren't going to have more kids? No, but they have 3. Ramon, so are you ready for my crazy theory? I am ready. Hit me with the crazy theory. But yeah, Dylan and Lacey have 2 boys and a girl. So that's where they're at right now. Obviously, I've already said that I have plans for Haley and Eric to have more kids. They're going to wait a while, but they're going to have more kids. But yeah, I think when you're around for centuries, you're The kids are grown. Have another one. So they all have money. So, yeah, that's that. So, but yeah, they have 2 boys and a girl. So if you guys, while I wait for Ramonsa's crazy theory, I'm ready. I'm ready to read it. I will tell you guys the next cast pictures that are coming up. Have we heard the name of Dylan's third child? No, not yet. The next cast pictures that will be posted, and if people would have just had a little bit of chill. So next chapter, we're gonna get cast updates. We're gonna see what Emma looks like, Emma Daniels. We are going to see what Finn Frost looks like. We're going to see Emmett Daniels. We're going to see Alexandria, Teak, and Sophia's daughter. Because remember, that's Emmett's mate. So they're obviously together. We are also going to see what Wesley and Buttercup look like. So I think that's what I have planned for right now. Oh, no, there's one more, but I can't tell you. It won't make any sense who she is. So there is another cast member that will be updated, but I can't tell you who she is. So Alpha Hammond's daughter. What is going on with her? Charlie Rose? Both her parents were pieces of work, but she was raised by wolves who seemed like good people. She was raised by wolves who are good people. She is in Emmeline and Lucas's pack, and she will also be in the next chapter. I guess I could do a cast picture of her. We should totally do a cast picture of her. I'm going to have to get hers ready to go because she is going to be there. So, I think Melanie is the White Wolf. We'll see. I don't think that Fabian can still get to hurt. Well, I don't think I want. Okay, hold on. I don't think I want to think that Fabian can still get to hurt Haley through her kids the way to get to her, but I bet Arian is on the case. So here's the deal with that, guys. Fabian is obviously horrible, but he is also very vain, very selfish. He's a typical fairy. So in order to do anything, he didn't have sight like Alania did. So he can't set up stuff for like future kids. He set up his stuff to torture Haley. That was his thing. So he can't do it from the beyond. He can't torture the living from the beyond. He could pull them to the beyond, but as I have said, that would be a bad idea for him because any of her kids would have their powers in the beyond. They can't kill him, but they can hurt him, and he can't hurt them. Like, it's their consciousness is what's going there. So, like, they could feel pain of some kind, but not really. You can't hurt the living in the beyond. You can use your words, like you could push them physically and things like that, and that would feel real to them. But their bodies are physically not leaving the realm to go to the beyond. So for Fabian to call them there would be a horrible idea. And he's not dumb. Like, he hid his ring and everything that all the things he was doing. So he's actually very smart. So to call any of her children to the beyond when their defenses are lowered on his part would be a bad idea. It would be a bad idea on Alania's part too. Arian's probably the only one that can get away with it. But Arian, on his side, thought that they might do something to him. He just felt like they deserved to meet him, and if they wanted to yell and get mad, he also was doing it to protect Haley and Aiden because that's his job. He's the enforcer. He's supposed to be their balance. So he pulled them there to make sure that they were not mad at Haley or Aiden for what happened. He wanted the blame to be on him. So, I think the moon goddess. I think it's the moon goddess. Melanie is the white wolf, which is why she excels at everything. The white wolf suffers. The moon goddess is her ultimate wisdom, is doing this to get her way. So she has to leave to reach her full potential and destiny. I have more, but it's a lot to type. So I will say this about that. No, the white wolf doesn't have to suffer. In the legend, they do. But the moon goddess has like things in place to punish people for that. In the legend, again, that's all in the legend. So we go back and read what Azir says to Celine. the moon goddess about what's coming. That makes me so relieved to hear. I'm glad. Yeah, it would be a horrible idea for Fabian. Is Charlie Rose a good witch? Yeah, she is. She's a good kid. Are the shadows that Angela sees with Alexander's mates and path, is this to do with whatever's interfering with Melanie meeting the Connors? The Connors and the Lions, or is it something that can be explained later? That's going to be explained, what's going on with all of that. All of that will be explained. So we shall see. Which of Emmy's children does she already know of the mates? She would have known her daughter was Phoebe. She did. She said Juliana told everybody that that Emmeline knew her mate. Did she just not tell Lucas because her fairy side came out and it would... Lucas didn't want to know. So that's mentioned in the chapter. Juliana says that her mom has known her mate her whole life. But her fairy side was like, that would be no fun if you just told me. I want to figure it out on my own. And she kind of took it as a challenge. Lucas, on his part, did not want to know who his daughter's mate was. So he was perfectly fine with her not wanting to know, because that meant like that it wasn't like totally real to him. I'm not going to tell you how many of her mates, of her kids, she knows the mate of. But Juliana did mention that. Hold on. Okay, my husband and I are going to talk about that when he gets back. Okay. But yeah, there's, I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh yeah, Emmeline and her kids. So yeah, Lucas doesn't want to know his kids' mates. Is there anything suspicious about Chase's mom's death, or was it really just a rogue attack? Chase's mom's death was a rogue attack. It was. So, yeah, it plays back into Alpha Hammond's dad and the shady things that he was doing. Technically, Chase's mom died because of Alpha Hammond's dad. He was meeting with those rogues, and there just happened to be a group of them, and they attacked the Daniels pack, and she happened to be there. So really, it is Alpha Hammond's dad's fault, but it was truly a rogue attack. Do Mel and Alexander get to meet soon? I'm not answering that question. And soon is a relative term. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, gosh, I'm already anticipating how hard these lives are about to get here in a couple chapters. Next Sunday, you guys, I'm going to be like jumping through hoops. That's going to be me next Sunday. Will we see the kids from the fairy orphanage again? Arian and Aiden's children, probably. Not sure about the rest of them. I think Betty and Davis went maybe too easy, although they don't have wolves anymore. I feel there was something there that's more than we know now. This was mentioned on the last live. Their death was truly a rogue attack. They were meeting with a witch to try to figure out how to suppress Buttercup and Travis's daughter, who we haven't named, is Wolf. Wouldn't have worked for Buttercup, which is what the witch tells them, because Buttercup knows who her mate is. She'd look into his eyes like well before she was 16. So it wouldn't have worked. Will they meet in this book? I'm still not answering that question. but it wouldn't have worked with Buttercup because she knows Wesley and they spend a lot of time together. But for Travis's daughter, she doesn't know her mate yet, so that's why they were meeting. They didn't learn anything. They're still just the worst. The witch survived. We will see. So if somebody requests a Dylan point of view, yes, we will see it. And I don't know that anybody's going to talk about it. I'll have to see. EJ knows what happened. The witch did live to, not live. Travis killed the witch because she had knowledge they don't want people to have, and she was going to do it. So it's not like she was an innocent and died. So if somebody requests that outtake from Dylan's point of view, we will absolutely talk about it. I'm not sure if it will come into the bigger part of the books because Buttercup has no idea that those are her grandparents, and Wesley is not going to let anybody give that knowledge to her because that would hurt her feelings, and he doesn't want that. So Travis and Dylan's kids didn't know those were their grandparents. They had nothing to do with them. Travis and Dylan kept them away from them. So there be no point in those kids finding it out. EJ does know, so it's possible that he'll talk about it. We'll have to see. I'm just not sure if that's going to come out. Okay. Where did we leave off over here? Melanie took Tristan's phone to message Alexander. Did she text from her phone and just got the number from Tristan? No, she took Tristan's phone and messaged him from that phone. That's not to say she didn't memorize his number, but she didn't text him from her phone. And if somebody okay. Has Gamma McCann's nephew taken over as Gamma already? Is there a new alpha of that pack? So Alpha Davis's son is the alpha of that pack. I don't think we named him. Well, I know his name, but I don't know that I put his name in the book. Oh, yeah, I did. I did put his name. So his son took over, and Gamma McCann's nephew is the Gamma. He took over and was communicating with Alpha Chase's pack, having no idea what he was doing. He was the Gamma as a child. So yeah, he's still their Gamma now. He has his own family. Will we find out what happened to Charloni's friends that she gave up? It's not really important. They were punished, but Peter is trying to give them a chance. They're kids, so he's trying to give them a chance, but they're being watched closely for what they do, and they've basically been told you stay away from Black Mountain and their pack because if you go there, I'm not gonna stop them from killing you. So, yeah, I think I'm caught up on the questions. Am I? Yes, no, yes, yes, yes. Okay, yes. I'm just gonna say yes 6 more times. I am caught up on the questions. What else we got, peeps? Where are people finding all these bad witches? Haley seems to regularly kill bad witches, and the Bishop siblings are strong, and they have proven that they're not to be crossed. Why are all these witches so stupid to be in their territory uninvited? Well, because they get in and out. That was the first time that they've met. That witch would have gotten out if she hadn't been attacked by a rogue. There will always be bad groups of people. I think that's true of anything. You can find good and bad people anywhere. There's always going to be a certain, and especially in a supernatural world, there's always that draw to the dark. You can be powerful. You can, kind of have people thinking you're not that bad, but secretly you just know you're really powerful. And there is a draw to be bad sometimes. And then some people are just wired that way. And some people are raised in a family like that. Some people are raised in a family, and to them that's normal. Being good is, strange. And to them that doing dark magic and practicing things like that are normal. And, some do it as a way of surviving. They don't want what's happening to happen to them. So that's their defense mechanism. So let me know if that answered your question. But yeah, people they're not being like, they're not being overt about it. It's not like, if you need a dark witch, you go to this coven. They're hiding because Haley and Eric are hunting down rings at this point with their allies. And so is Aiden, and so are the Hakura. But the rings have always been good at hiding. And now that, there's a light on them, they've gotten even better at it. So they're not being overt about the fact that, they're practicing dark magic or they're doing dark things. It's people that you don't suspect. How are they getting in and out unnoticed? Well, it's not like witches monitor who all is coming into the area. Lucas and all of them are not monitoring like every person that comes in. People are supposed to come to them as a supernatural, but they don't have to. And they were meeting with Dylan's parents. Dylan's dad used to be the beta of the territory. He knows how things run. He knows how to get people in and out. So that's how they're doing it. So yeah, when you have a former beta that is, determined to do something, he knows how things run. He knows how things work. He trained Dylan. He trained his son for years. He did abandon him right when they took over, which is why Ben McAllister was Dylan's mentor, but he still trained him. He knows how his son thinks. So they got in and out because he's helping. He's the one meeting with them. He didn't want to get caught. When does Red Run realize you can't see Melanie in the pictures? Not for a very long time. And that's not to say it hasn't been mentioned. I've seen people saying, why aren't they talking about that? And Haley's not really going to ask about it because Haley's got a lot of stuff going on. Like she's a therapist. She still is like the champion of the partials. She still does her training and she runs the Black Mountain Pack and she got 20 kids. Like she's not besties with Sam. She has no idea that Alexander is upset about not meeting Melanie, or she probably would. She's respecting his space and that he doesn't want to talk about it. So she has no idea that he suspects anything. Eric is respecting the fact that Alexander hasn't talked to them. So yeah, he knows because he's Eric and he knows things. But he's respecting the fact that his son is not talking about it. So he didn't tell Haley. And Emmeline has asked though, but she didn't really push it. It was just kind of a, it was kind of weird at your party that there are no pictures of Melanie. And Sam was like, there were tons of pictures of her. What are you talking about? And so Emmeline didn't really push it. She just kind of thought that they didn't notice. So people have said stuff about it, but from Red Run, they're like, she's in the pictures. Like, are you blind? It's everywhere. So they don't get it. And everybody else just feels kind of awkward pushing about it because it's not like you're not getting that like, oh yeah, that is weird. Like if you talk to somebody from Red Run, they're like, there are tons of pictures of her. What are you talking about? And it's not like, you're talking to somebody and you're like trying to gauge how they feel about something. And if they agree with you, you're like, oh, okay, let's jump into this. But they're not agreeing with them. So they're like, they just not see this? Like it's not they think there's something going on. It's that they're wondering if like they just didn't notice, like they were just like at the party and having a lot of fun and didn't notice that there weren't pictures with her. So that's kind of where that's going on, what's going on with that. So and we see we're going to see some tensions build with that and some other things. So the person/people involved in what's going on with Mel, you said we weren't looking at the right person. I didn't say that. I said there's somebody being overlooked. Not necessarily that you're looking at the wrong person. There's a list of suspects, guys, but I'm just saying we're missing one. Not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying there's a suspect that's missing. How far ago do we meet the responsible party? Like in which book? I'm not saying he's the responsible party. I'm saying it's a he. I'm not saying that you're wrong about who you think the responsible party or parties are. I'm just saying there's a list that should be on the suspect list that you all have that I haven't seen. And I think, guys, I think it's obvious who the suspect is based on whose family we're talking about. So, well, I didn't think of a he. It's a he. It's a he, and I think we need to think what we know about Sam and Drake. Like, it's their family that this is happening to. So, again, not saying anybody's theory is wrong. I'm just saying there's a suspect that I thought that everybody would kind of like click onto that I haven't seen anybody talk about. Yeah, so not saying anybody's list of suspects is wrong. I'm not saying that there's not credence to, more than one. The brother of the Alpha. Yeah, Alpha Ezra. His name is Alpha Ezra. I feel like he's an obvious suspect that should be on the list, guys. But yeah, the Alpha of the Ducant's brother, his name's Alpha Ezra. I feel like he's an obvious suspect. Again, not saying it's him, not saying it's not any of your other suspects. I just feel like he's a suspect that should be discussed. Because, I mean, he's got a grudge. So, yeah. If you guys thought I was saying that your theories were all wrong, that's not what I was saying at all. I'm just saying there's a suspect that I felt was left off the list, and I thought he was kind of one that would jump out at people. So, but yeah, it's not to say anybody's wrong. It's not to say it's him. It's not to say that it can't be a combination of people, suspects. We're going to find out those answers. We're going to find out where that's going. But yeah, he's just one of the people that I thought for sure that I would see like people wondering what he was up to or suspecting him, and I have not seen a single person suspecting him. I was just surprised that he wasn't on the list of suspects, guys. But I'm surprised Eric hasn't taken over Ezra's pack. He was very adamant about not having weak borders, and we know Ezra has a cash flow problem. Eric doesn't share a border with Alpha Ezra. Alpha Ezra shares a border with, so from the first book, we met Nathan McDermott. He is the second son of Alpha Stephen McDermott. He took over a smaller pack. He has a border with Alpha Ezra. Eric doesn't. Can Corbin ask the Shadows about Alexander's mate? I mean, he could, but they're not going to answer. They're not like all knowing. They help him. They help do things. They don't really answer questions. It's kind of like, it's a bit of like, whispers in their head of what they'll do and kind of what they won't do, but they're not like a genie to ask questions to, like, who's Alexander's mate? That's a question for Emmeline, and Alexander doesn't want to know the answer. Was it just witches that had the cash flow problem? No, Alpha Ezra had a cash flow problem. He was trying to get money out of Eric. The witches were also trying to get money out of the bishops. But yeah, he was having a cash flow problem. But again, he doesn't share a border with Eric. So, and he went away. If he had kept bothering Eric probably would have taken over his pack, but people know that about Eric. It's not like you don't know what you're getting into when you get into a fight with him. So, yeah, he doesn't share a border, and he kind of just went away after that. Eric seems so adamant about weak borders that he would push his allies to keep strong borders. I mean, he does have to help if they have, but he can't make somebody take over a territory. He can give them advice. He can do all that stuff. But Eric, he's not going to make somebody do something they don't want to do. And as far as Alpha Nathan McDermott was concerned, Alpha Ezra keeps to himself. They don't have problems with rogues on their border. He's not messing with him. So to him, it might not be an ally, but it's not a weak border to him. So, but I mean, yeah, people listen to Eric, but like we saw with the Alpha Max situation, Eric wanted to kill him long before it actually happened. It wasn't his pack. He stated his opinion. People disagreed with him. That still happens. Like, he'll tell you what he thinks, but I mean, people don't have to do what he said. In Race to Kira, did Dustin, Katie, and Ryan keep the Forrester last name? Yes, they did. Because David died when they were kids. So it's not like all the stuff he did really came out. And it's not like he got a chance to do a lot of the bad things that he did. So, since Angela has the strongest sight, can Alania interfere with her sight? We're going to see. We're going to find out the answer to that. So we'll find out the answer to that. Yeah, we'll find out the answer. The thing that Alania has that Angela doesn't is Angela is 4. So she doesn't have much experience with her sight, and there's nobody who can really, she can read about her power, but she's the only fairy with sight right now. Mercutius can help a little because he gets kind of premonition, kind of flashes of stuff, but he doesn't have sight like she does. So she's kind of a bit like Haley was. Like, she's got her books. Aiden can help her. Aiden has a lot of knowledge about sight and how that works. But again, it's basically just her, though. So she's got to figure it out herself. And whereas Alania had experience. So. Do we have more questions, or did I get to them all? I'm going to be impressed with myself if I did. Does Lexi still take hood missions now that she's the Luna? Yes, as Haley takes Hakira missions, Lexi does hood stuff too. She's still the Black Arrow. So she doesn't go out and gather information for Heath like she did with other alias. She goes out as the Black Arrow alone. Her face would be too easy to look up at this point. Will Alania pull the triplets to the beyond? It would be a bad idea. I'll say that. But we'll give the questions another 10-ish minutes, guys, and then we'll sign off for the day and just mentally prepare myself for the questions that are coming next week that I am going to hula hoop and jump through and figure out. But unless there are no more questions, if there are no more questions, I won't keep you guys on here to talk. How many partial fairies has Haley found? At this point, it's in the thousands. Do we get to see Rhea and Brutus's first interaction? We did. When they shifted, when Elise shifted for the first time, that was their first interaction. So I'm not sure what you mean by that, because we did see their first interaction. They were playing together as wolves. Yeah, we saw them interacting together for the first time. What other fairy powers does Angela have? We'll see. Obviously, we know she can pop. We'll see what else she can do. Has Black Mountain's borders expanded since book 1? So right now they're surrounded by allies that have expanded the other way, obviously, because they took over those other packs. The first time Brutus and Rhea talked to each other, like still in human form. well, we've obviously passed that point, but yeah, somebody could request that. Yeah, so Black Mountain took over those 4 packs. Obviously, we saw them take over one of those packs in Haley's book. But yeah, they took over those other 3 packs that were working against them. So yeah, their borders have expanded. That's the face I make when I look for questions. But yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions, we can end it. But if you have more questions, I'm available for like 8 more minutes before I get back to. I wrote a couple outtakes. Hi Amanda, I made my mom read the OG book, and she's in love with your writing. Thank you, Almada. I'm glad that she likes them. Haley brings out powers in other partial fairies. Is that why her children are so powerful? It's part of it. It's part of it. They're also just powerful in their own right, but yeah, she's calling all their powers forward and the things that they can do. So yes, it is her. She's the reason that most of them are. Any partial fairy is as powerful as they are. We saw that Trixie and Oscar weren't as powerful and couldn't do things until they met her. So it's her, light and bringing out their fairy side. No more questions for me before I go. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday too. Guys, I've written some fun outtakes. So we have a list of outtakes that are up. I have written through, I just wrote Titus and Alania's conversation after we ended with him and Veronica on the beach. So up to there. I try to get ahead. What are the names of Haley and Eric's other kids' wolves? Are they all new wolves? All of them are new wolves, and we will get into what their wolves' names are. We know Alexander, and we know Alexander and EJ's wolves' names. They've been mentioned. Did all the kids shift early? Yes. Some of them earlier than others because they watch their siblings do it. So if you've seen like siblings, like once you have the first kid, I've seen couples that have 2 kids. The second kid always walks sooner and crawls sooner and does all that because they're watching their sibling do it. So yes, all their kids shifted early. Did Oscar find more siblings? He did. We saw in Raised Hakura that he has another sibling. He has a brother. So he was mentioned. He was mentioned in Raised Hakura. So he might show up at some point. Maybe next chapter. Maybe not. Maybe longer. But he'll show up. He found him. So I think that's an outtake. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's on the list of Dylan and Oscar going to find kids. So Haley gives them like places they could look around. Do Oscar and Jenna have kids with wolves at birth? That's actually undecided for me. I know who their kids are. I know that when we see them, they have wolves. I'm not sure if they did from birth. I need to think about that some more. And because he is related to Aiden, he is part of the Promised family, but not sure because it's not like he's a cousin like Haley and Emlyn are cousins, like that type of close cousin. Because it's through Fenelton. So I haven't decided that. He is a Duke. He's not technically a Duke. He is a Duke. But it came from Fenelton and Alani, so I waffle on whether Oscar's kids have wolves at birth. I'll let you know if I decide. And she is a beta blood, but her side doesn't matter. It's him, because obviously if wolves were powerful enough, like alphas and betas and gammas would all have wolves at birth. So it's not about her, it's about him. I hope you have a great week. Looking forward to this week's chapters, you guys. It's gonna get crazy. And yeah, I'm already anticipating the hula hoop jumping for next Q&A. With 4 Connor's brothers' kids becoming with the 4 Connor, how will they work out there being so many? So not all of them are going to want to become an alpha. As we saw, Saeed doesn't. And there are some others that don't. Right now, we know that Alexander, EJ, and Daisy do. But Alexander's a bit of like he's kind of a flex alpha. Like he's still an alpha. He still has a pack that he watched out for, but he's also EJ's enforcer, and that's kind of where a lot of his time is spent. So they all have different dreams and different goals they want to do, and they're a different pack, so they're not going to make people take over if they don't want to. But they do have a big enough territory. Like it was mentioned when Shanna was kidnapped. They're like, who's our closest ally to that pack? And Caleb tells them it's us, and they're 300 miles away. So they've got a very large territory. They have enough, like they can justify all of them staying together. So, but yeah, some have different paths elsewhere that they want to pursue. So I'm loving this book. I love EJ and Elise together and their love story. They're so beautiful. Can't wait for this week. I love their story too. I think their story is very sweet, of how it's just always been them. So, you know, they're not only mates, they're best friends. So I do love that about this. And I love how, you know, they consider, like he considers Dalton, Dane, and Dakota his family, and she considers his family hers as well. So yeah, they've been raised together. They already do that, and we're already seeing the difference in how Haley and Eric are handling stuff. So yeah, we like Haley's already including Elise, and you know, kind of letting her make her decisions, and then telling her, you know, you did a great job. Like that, you trusted your instincts. That's what I told you to do. So you know, still guiding her, still helping her. Seeing a very stark difference there. Have you edited chapters from Haley's book since you posted them? Oh, yes. I have read through them from the Patreon post and noticed a couple of typos. Yes. So what I posted didn't go through my editor. Those were my edits. I still have more to make myself personally, but I posted them there before sending them through to the girl who's editing for me. So yeah, if you find those, you can just put them on the post for airs in print. Totally fine with that. That's on the Facebook group. I love how you make me feel like I'm immersed in the world you create. I'm glad you feel that way. I feel like I, you know, live there part-time. So, okay, 2 more minutes, guys. But yeah, I love this world and all the things that are coming up. And yeah, some have a great week. You too, Amanda. But I love this world. I love where it's going. I love how I know some of you will be like, hey, that was evasive when things come out, when we find out how I answered a question. So it's fun to know that those things are coming. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I know where some of this is going. I know where all of it's going. I know where things coming out of things people have said. Yeah, I'm sure, just so everybody's aware, we are going to, EJ's book is going to end at a specific age, and then we're going to jump back in time to tell Cassie's story. So don't freak out when that happens, because it's going to. Can you tell us August outtakes that are requested so far? Not right now, because we have like a minute left. But I posted a lot of the requests. A lot of the August requests are in that post that I made. There have been a few more that came in. So yeah, I think where I left off on that list, I think what has been requested is Aiden and Lucinda talking about sharing their light on Valentine's Day, Heath meeting the war goddess after finding out Sophia's married, Uncle Zader and our OG getting unspelled because that did happen, Haley's point of view when Cassandra dies, and Arian's point of view on the House of Horrors for Noah that Haley wanted. So with that, I gotta go, guys. Start having dreams about your universe. Oh, me too, all the time. So immersed in, I lay awake thinking about theories. I love that. I love everything about that. You guys have a good Sunday, and I will talk to you later.